Guys, Paul with Apache Rifleworks, back with another gear review today. We're going to be doing an unboxing of Medford knives, a huge shipment that we got from them. If you've never heard of Medford Knife and Tool, make sure to go like their Facebook and Instagram, check out their website. Make sure to go and smash that subscribe button down there and hit that notification bell. It helps us a ton. This is going to be an insane unboxing. There's a ton of beautiful knives in here, also a few new things from Medford. This review is also something important to understand about Medford, is these knives are not your average CRKT and Benchmade. This is another level of knife, and we're going to talk to you a little bit about why we feel they're so special and why we feel that they're a great purchase. Thanks for coming out today, and let's get this review started. Guys, welcome back to the bench. This review I'm pretty excited about because I'm a huge Medford fan. We're going to talk a little bit about why I'm a huge Medford fan today and why we decided to be a dealer here for Medford knives and why we should have done it a long time ago. Talk a little bit about the knives, the finishes, the options you can choose. This is a very small selection of things from him. A lot of these are customer requests, and most of the knives we got in are already sold, which is generally the case with these things. So let's get into this tabletop review of the beautiful selections of knives we've had. We also have a fixed blade and one more knife back here so we can discuss packaging and what you get when you buy Medford. Medford's a small business based, Medford Knife and Tools is a small business based out of Arizona. They make 100% of their knife in-house. There's only one process they don't do, and that's the black Pvd coating that they do on some of their knife handles and blades and small parts. Other than that, it's 100% made in-house, and he's as patriotic of a man and as patriotic of a business as you can physically be. This is a really cool knife drop that we've got. Now, before we get this started, just remember that some of these are for sale, some of these are sold. We'll go over those. If you're interested in one of these, make sure to send us a message, send us an email at support@ApacheRifleworks.com. You can DM us at Facebook at Apache Rifleworks, or DM us on Instagram at Apache_Rifleworks. If you want to get a hold of these, we're going to post some pictures on these knives on Facebook and Instagram. That way, you know if they're available or not if you're interested in buying them. We'll also discuss pricing on there as well. So let's get into this. What is special about Medford? Why are they expensive? Why are they worth buying? Pros and cons of owning one, etc. I have owned Benchmades, I've owned CRKTs, I've owned Spydercos, I have owned Microtechs. They are all good knife manufacturers. Medford is not the one-all be-all. I consider Medford Knife and Tool a custom knife company. They are not a one-off. They can be a one-off knife company. They also don't have huge production runs, but are starting to get into some knives that are more affordable for people with that same Medford quality. The Smooth Criminal and the Praetorian Swift are going to be two of those knives. I don't have any of those here. We had 4 Smooth Criminals, but they're all gone. Basically, what we're looking at is a very small sampling of some of his custom stuff that we have asked for, a fixed blade and a nice flipper, and a new knife from him that he released at Blade Show, the Chunky Monkey, which is cool. It's his first iteration into a butcher style blade, which is really cool. So let's get into this. We're going to set these aside and let's go in through each one of these, and we'll start from new and small all the way to big, and then we'll also discuss his packaging. So this is the Chunky Monkey. Nice little knife, not very big. This is a small knife from him, but it's got great handle stock. So what's really cool about these knives is the very industrial look of them. They've got a wonderful, I love how he leaves the grind lines on here. He's got beautiful grinds. The guys who are grinding these knives are very skilled craftsmen. He's got wonderful handle designs. This is of course an all titanium handled knife with a titanium locking side. His clip designs are useful and good, and they work. And they don't fail or bend or let your knives fall out of your pockets. I've lost many a $200-300 Benchmade because I've bent the clip and not really realized it. These clips will not bend on you. Huge backspacer in this. Man, I'm talking about a beefy backspacer on this thing with a small lanyard hole. Titanium scales. This is a polished flame treat, which looks beautiful. Looks like the skin on an Amazon frog. Man, it's really cool. Satin blade on this guy. The tumble blade's a little bit more subdued. Nice guard there. It doesn't allow you to slip forward on the knife. It really holds great in the hand for as small as it is. And you can see I have medium-sized hands, but this is not a very big knife. You're looking at probably somewhere around a little over 4.5 inches on this blade, on this knife overall length. Probably somewhere around 2 inches on the blade, a little over 2 inches. Just a real pretty looking knife. And it feels great. New knife from them. If you're interested in this is a really unique one from them right out of the gate, which is cool. They released these at Blade Show this year. So the Chunky Monkey. Not my style, like a little bit of a bigger knife. Now, that's the cool thing about Medford is when we get into some of these, knives, you're going to notice a reoccurring theme with these is going to be the size of the blade stock, the size of the titanium handle scales. They're designed to be beefy. That's the way he likes his knives because they're tools. They're very beautiful tools, and you can really make these crazy, as you'll see as we get down the line. You can make these really pretty, but don't let their very pretty designs fool you. These things are hardcore, and he builds them to do that. Now, this is the smallest of the Praetorian line. This is the Praetorian Micro, and this is a drop point blade. What I love about this knife is the tuxedo finish on it. It's really clean, simple. It's got the satin blade, drop point. Nice grind lines on there. Pvd coating. This is the only thing he doesn't do in-house because PVD machines are really expensive, and for what he does, it's easier for him to outsource. And he does outsource the PVDing in Arizona locally. Tumbled breaker. Really big D2 tool steel breaker back here. What I love about this knife is it's nice and classy, and then you get this really pretty flamed clip on the backside. Stainless hardware. Now, stainless is a standard option for him on the hardware. Super sharp. And anybody who says a Medford's not hair popping sharp, I'll say it right there. I mean, really, really sharp. They're extremely sharp. So, is it kitchen knife sharp, guys? They're not kitchen knives, so I won't answer that question. They're not designed to be sharp like that. You can make them sharp like that, but they're tools. The edge is designed, the edge geometry on these is grinded so that they have long edge retention on these guys. So that's the Praetorian Micro. Nice size knife. And if you look in comparison to these guys, this is a very small knife. This is a nice everyday carry knife for somebody who wants to carry a Medford. A little bit more chunkiness on it, a little bit beefier, got that Medford feel, without it being a T, which I'm going to compare that to in just a second. So this is a very small everyday knife for somebody looking for something, it's chunky, man, but it just carries so good in the pocket. So the Chunky Monkey and the Praetorian Micro. Now moving on, since we've just looked at the Praetorian Micro, this is the full-size Praetorian Ti. Now he has 3 models of the Praetorian. You have the Praetorian Micro, the Praetorian Genesis, which is in the middle of these two, and the Praetorian Ti, and then the Ti, which is the Mamma Jamma, the big daddy of them all. It's a huge knife. Same overall dimensions as the Ti, but much thicker. Titanium's hardware on this. It's got this beautiful tiger striped flame treating on the handle side. PVD blade, Tonto style, which is what's most common for the knives we sell at Praetorians. The drop points are nice though. They're easy to sharpen. These take a little bit more work, but you can do it if you've got a good sharpening system. Jet black on the backside, with that pretty flamed breaker, gives it a little character. PVD breaker on the back, so it kind of blends in with the back of the knife. And that stainless hardware pops really nice in there. So when you're looking at the size of this compared to the Micro, you're going to see much smaller of a knife. To give you an idea, you're looking at a little over probably 6 1/4, 6.5 inches overall length of the Micro. Much larger. With the Ti, you're looking at approximately 8.5 inches or so total length, with about a 4-inch blade on it. What I really like about the Praetorian series is this heavy jimping up top. It really, when you hold this knife, this thing feels substantial. It feels like you just want to drive it through a car hood. And you could, this knife, you could absolutely do that with. S35VN on the blade stock. Serial number matching, all of his knives are serialized. If you buy one that's not serialized, it might just be older, but don't think you're going to go on eBay and buy one of these for $50, $75 or $100 because it's a fake, I promise you. So very stout materials. His metallurgy in these knives is amazing. I won't get into the geekiness of it because I don't know everything about them. But if you go to medforduniversity.com and take Medford University, and it'll really teach you a lot about knives. Now, Greg, I hope you watch this. What I think what's amazing about as far as the Medford University goes is that it really is an educational tool to help all knife makers. And I think it's a great insight into why Medfords are amazing and why they're so good, why other custom companies are so good as well. And it lets you just realize the thought and the science that goes into these knives and the tolerances that go into these knives and why they're so special and why they warrant, you know, a $700 price point, or going into a $550 price point, or getting into some of his lower end knives, which I say lower end only because of the price point. They're still the same quality. The Smooth Criminal's a new knife from him that retails about $290. That knife is amazing. I had 4 of them, but we sold them all the day they got here, so we don't have any more. We're going to do a review on that knife here soon, because it's a great gateway drug into getting into a Medford. Next up is the Proxima. This is probably one of my favorite blades from him, just because it's a great everyday design. It feels great. It's got a very beefy feel to the top of it. I love the false edge on the top of the blade. This gives the edge some strength up here, because you get a nice fine point. Nice thick knife. This one's got the Pvd hardware, which looks great. Makes it look real subdued and real tactical. Edge flame treating here. Flamed clip back here. We love the flaming, guys. I think the flaming makes these knives look really expensive, and it gives somebody who wants to buy their first one a great looking knife, but still looking really tactical, really everyday. Complete black side here, Pvd blade and locking side. But I think that the blacked out hardware and the Pvd looks awesome. He makes all his own hardware in-house too, and the 6-gun hardware is really cool looking. Serialized as well, completely. Numbers matching knife. S35VN. Now these guys, this one does not have a breaker on the back of it. You can see all the way through that guy. And these are frame locks. So the frame is the lock. And the lockup on these is really early. And just, I mean, this thing is a bank vault. They really are really stout. So nice knife. Gonna be on par as far as size goes with the Praetorian. Just a little bit shorter. Gonna have thicker handles on it though. And you know, that's why I like the Praetorian Ti. For somebody who wants that big feeling knife from them, that they don't want the size of what we're gonna show you next. This carries so good in the pocket. It's big, but it carries so much better than it looks on camera. It's really hard to describe. The next knife is a knife that I had Greg made for me. This is the Praetorian Ti. This is the big mamma jam. I've waited a long time for this blade, and had a custom lanyard on it with the Apache skull on there, which is really cool. Gives it a really mean look. This is a Ti that is completely flame treated front to back, except for the anodized blue spring in the back.
That's not a knife. That's a knife.
This knife is huge, and when you compare these two with the Ti, you can see the thickness difference. It's just a massive blade, and I've always wanted one. It's got this galaxy virus looking flame treat on it, super subdued with the flamed hardware, and the hardware up here, the screws came out almost a gold color, which matches almost perfect with this bronze lanyard here. And on the back side, it's got the signature Medford clip, which is only on the Ti. Big Pvd breaker, and a just awesome Vulcan finish on the blade. Now, this Vulcan finish is not done on all his knives. It's not the same process as this, as the titanium flaming. And every one of these is different. Some of them come out really brilliant. Some of them don't come out as brilliant, but that's what's cool about them. Reds and some oranges there and some golds. It's just a cool looking knife, man. This thing is huge, but it carries so well. It's hard to describe how well these things carry for their size. And this is for the Medford owner that really wants to commit. This is a very expensive knife, but they're worth every penny of it, and it's something special I'll have forever and hopefully give to my kids one day. And the way you open a Medford, by the way, most of his Praetorians, most of his other knives, is you kind of got to take it in the palm right and move it to the edges, and then start from the front of the fuller groove and move all the way forward, and you kind of run your finger down the fuller groove, and they open really easy. With a little bit of practice, you get used to it. But just stunner, man, that thing is just something else. I'm just very happy with it. So Greg, Amy, thank y'all. I love it. It's beautiful. I can't even fit this thing in frame. This thing's massive. All right, next one we're going to cover is the Recon fixed blade. Now, I like his fixed blades because in my mind, for the kind of knife you're getting, it's a very moderately priced fixed blade for almost a full custom. You're getting a really nice sheath on the end of this, on the back end of this thing, nice Kydex sheath, and you're getting Tech Lock back end to it too, which is just, it's a good system from Blade Tech. So you can customize this, move it around. So this is the Recon. What I like about the Recon is really functional. Most of his fixed blades are very functional. Vulcan finish on this thing, god dang, look at that thing. And that's, again, I reiterate this, they're very pretty looking, they're very custom looking, but they're tools. Don't let the finish fool you. This is a work knife. You got a ruler on the back of this in inches. And what's cool about this groove right here is this is a rangefinder built in, so that at arm's length you can hold that out in front of you and you can range man-sized targets, I think out to 400 or 500 yards to give you range estimations in a pinch. Great guard right there. And then you can choke up and do finer work with this, some bushcraft work. And then you've also got this nice wrench in the back here. And this is the same wrench that fits scope rings, things like that, which is genius because this is exactly what he designed this knife for the military, and the guys that were using this knife, this is, you know, to take on and off scope rings and to do things like that. This is a great addition to this. And just, man, what a skull cracker. I mean, you can pop somebody in the head with that. This is definitely a work knife, but a great size knife too. It's not super big. You can see it's about almost the same length as the Ti. So it's not a huge, and I say huge, it's a big knife. Over 1/4 inch blade stock on this, just huge blade stock. I mean, it's one big piece of steel with G10 slabs on it, but look at the flame treating on it. It's a gorgeous knife. So his fixed blades are going to come in a standard box with him. They're going to come, most of his knives are going to come with this nice Kydex sheath, great retention on it, and then you're also going to get soft pouch. Each one of his comes with a dog tag with all this business information on it. And then you're going to, inside the box, you generally are going to get, well, you will, not generally, you will get a business card with warranty care instructions, etc. And we'll move these kind of to the side, and I'm going to show y'all what his packaging looks like. So when you buy a knife like this, right, you expect the packaging to be on point, which it is. So basically what you're looking at here is, this is the box that it comes in. Nice white box, nothing crazy. And you're going to be getting this, looks like a Pelican style case with all your information, warranties, things like that. And read this, guys. The warranties are really strict. They build these knives with certain tolerances and give you some care options and how simple they are to care for. Don't go through and yanking these things apart. They're not designed to come apart. You know, Greg and the guys over there have a very specific way which these are assembled. There's one more knife in here, but this is the packaging you're going to get. Again, the dog tag, little lanyard, nice case, sourced in the U.S., not made overseas. Warranty care and maintenance in here as well. So just great packaging, and you're going to get his business card in here, which Greg's personal, but this is a nice business card. Blade number, get your born on date and the knife maker who signed it. So great packaging. So this knife is the 187F. This is an older knife from him. It's one of the few flippers that he does make. The Proxima is a great flipper too. This is a nice size knife. If you can look at the size between, I'll close that, between the Proxima and this is a great, if you want something big from him but not massive like the Proxima, there's a compromise in this knife as far as the size goes, and I really like the size of it. You'd think this flipper would get in the way, but for flipper guys, this really doesn't get in the way. This is a blue anodizing on there with a stainless hardware, which is nice and simple. Really pops against the black PVD blade. Tumbled clip gives it a little character to kind of match with the hardware. And great flipping motion on it. D2 tool steel on this guy. Great hardness on that, on the blade steel, as you know. This one's a great size knife. It just fits great in the hand. So as comparison, you can see where the 187F fits. Just comes out the bottom of my palm almost. Doesn't have a breaker on the end of it. And the knives that, like the Praetorian that do have breakers, are designed to stick out just a little further, just like that. And the small micro, I'll tell you, Even though it has a breaker and it's small, you can choke up nice and tight on it, and the breaker still barely exits your hand depending on your hand size. So really purpose-driven designs on this, and this is a great gateway drug as well to a mid-size Medford, reasonably priced too, at around $450, $475 for this knife. Now let's talk about pricing, because that's always a thing when we discuss these kind of knives with people. What is acceptable pricing in the knife world, right? Well, to people who aren't in this industry and who haven't really done a lot of research in knives and these kind of blades, $700 is a lot of money for a knife, right? That's no doubt. You could buy a nice pistol for that, but at the same time, what you're paying for is a level of quality and American craftsmanship that you don't get in a lot of places. There's many wonderful knife makers that make custom knives. So Medfords aren't the only one. This is truly an expression of your personal style. But that's what it is. This is a piece of art that's usable every day, that I can carry this every day and I can bring this out of my pocket and show it off to somebody and just be real proud of it. Could I go buy a really nice Glock for this and put a red dot on it? Yeah. But I promise you're going to use this more every day than you are that Glock. Even though the Glock's important, we're gun guys, we carry guns every day. I use this more than I use any gun, any time of the year. When I pull this out, it feels quality. Yeah, sure. Can you say, well, it cuts something just like a $25 knife? Yeah, I mean, I guess. But it's not built as well. You're not going to have any issues with this knife. The clip's not going to come loose. The hardware and the pivots aren't going to come loose. You're not going to have any problems with this knife over the course of several years. Knives that are $75, $100 get replaced, they get fixed, they get broken, and these knives just don't do that. And why do mechanics buy Snap-on? Why do they buy really expensive tools? So that they last them a long time and they only got to buy them once. And that's really why we support the Medford guys, because it is a wonderful tool and they work so good, and the edge retention is great. If you can't get these sharp the way that it came out of the box, send it back to them and they'll resharpen it, no charge, and get it back to you generally in a few days. What makes these Medford knives special is there's something you can hand down. Now they do make, now let's talk about this kind of, these are running, you're looking at $475, the Praetorians are running about 700-ish depending on options. The only options you really pay for these are any of the screw finishes. If you do a tumble finish on the blade, or in the tumble finish on the blade, there's no charge. PVDing, there's a little bit of a charge. You're looking at the PVDing on the screws, or any of the anodized finishes on the screws are going to be an extra charge. But everything else, the flame treating, there's no extra charge. And you know, if you let them kind of get creative with it, they're going to do their own thing. The PVDing and the flaming on the clip, there's no extra charge. You really get kind of one knife price, and then you just pay the little bit of an upgrade that depending on the options you choose. Or you can let guys like us order stuff and you kind of benefit from it. The Smooth Criminal from them is a button lock knife. It's one of his first knives. It is the first button lock he's ever done. They're $290, and I wish I had one here to show you, but I just don't, because they sold so fast. Because they're going to be a great knife for people to get into Medfords, and that's why I really love that he did that. It is literally you push this little button. There's a button right here. You push that guy, and it literally just swings down, and it does this on its own. I mean, it is amazingly tight. It feels like, if you've ever held a really expensive watch, that's exactly how that knife feels. And it's a great size. It's a little smaller than this. It's probably about this long, a little bit smaller, a little bit thinner on the blade stock. Great everyday use knife. And he just released the Praetorian Swift, which is going to be an auto, his first automatic knife, which we'll do a review on here pretty soon. It's going to be slimmer than this slightly, and I think just a hair longer. That's because it's a lifetime knife. And they're very collectible. I mean, you can really get these things in a lot of different finishes and start a little bit of a collection. And you know, the way I look at it is I pull my wallet, I pull everything out, put it on my desk counter, and I have a few of these stacked up, and I just pick what my flavor is that day. And I enjoy carrying them. It's something you notice a little bit in your pocket, which is cool, because I wouldn't call these an investment, but spending money on something nice like this, you don't want to forget it's there. That's the reason I think I like how heavy they are. You want to know it's there, and every time you pull it out, it just doesn't get old, man. You pull one of these things out, it just does not get old opening this thing up to cut something. It's like driving a new car every day. If you want more information on Medford knives, you want pricing on these guys, exact pricing, make sure to send us an email at support@ApacheRifleworks.com. We will be listing these on the website in about a week from this video. But the best place to go look for these is our Facebook or Instagram at Apache Rifleworks and take a look at which ones are available. Some of these are sold already. This guy, of course, is sold. We had another Praetorian Ti with this crazy, or a Praetorian T with a crazy Vulcan finish on the blade, which is already sold. And all 4 Smooth Criminals sold yesterday. Go Google Smooth Criminal from Medford. It's a great looking little knife and a great knife for people wanting to get into this. I mean, it's a benchmade price knife, $290, with the quality of his very expensive knives. So don't miss out on wanting to maybe own one of these or get at least a little bit more information. And don't forget, there's also a lot of wonderful knife makers out there that just, it's not about Medford being the only way. Chris Reeves, there's a lot of guys out there, and I just tossed that name out there because not being really in tune with the custom knife market, I really don't know a lot of the guys that are out there, but I've seen beautiful custom knives that, of course, are way more expensive than this. But for somebody who wants a beautiful tool to use every day, you can get them as simple as you want or as crazy as you want. And I promise every time you pull it out of your pocket, you'll be very happy with it. So guys, thank y'all for coming and watching this unboxing and review of the Medford knife shipment we got. If you have any questions, again, contact us. Make sure, smash that subscribe button, hit that notification bell so that every time we release a video, you get it first. And we'll see y'all next time.